Hello, friends, and welcome to another book review by me, Kate, co-host of Dark Side of the Word podcast. Today I'm going to be reviewing a book that flew under my radar for a while, but I'm really excited that I picked it up. It is From Blood and Ash by Jennifer Armentrout. Welcome to the part of the show where I don't know how to say a single person's name. Armentrout. Armentrout? Armentrout. Also, I have to make a confession. I'm realizing that I've been wearing this shirt a lot in my reviews. I've just been really good at keeping up with my laundry, and I love this shirt, and it's new. And so, yeah. Sorry, friends. Nothing original over here. Alright, I also have another confession to make. I'm not as prepared for this review as I normally would like it to be, because life has been lifing lately, but instead of just skipping this review altogether, I decided that why not just do the best that I can today? So if this is your first time checking out one of my book reviews, please go check out one of the other ones where I'm like way more on top of my game, please. Or a podcast episode. Either way, please don't judge me and still give me a thumbs up for showing up today. Alright, so I'm going to read the back of the book, which I don't like to do. If you've watched my other ones, I write my own synopsis because it's helpful for other things I've explained in other videos, but pardon my reading the back of this book. A maiden. Chosen from birth to usher in a new era, Poppy's life has never been her own. The life of the maiden is solitary, never to be touched, never to be looked upon, never to be spoken to, never to experience pleasure. Waiting for the day of her ascension, she would rather be with the guards, fighting back the evil that took her family, than preparing to be found worthy by the gods. But the choice has never been hers. The entire kingdom's future rests on Poppy's shoulders, something she's not even quite sure she wants for herself. Because a maiden has a heart, and a soul, and a longing, and when Hawke, a golden-eyed guard, honor-bound to ensure her ascension, enters her life, destiny and duty become tangled with desire and need. He incites her anger, makes her question everything she believes in, and tempts her with the forbidden. Forsaken by the gods and feared by mortals, a fallen kingdom is rising once more, determined to take back what they believe is theirs through violence and vengeance. And as the shadows of those cursed draw closer, the line between what is forbidden and what is right becomes blurred. Poppy is not only on the verge of losing her heart and being found unworthy by the gods, but also her life, when every blood-soaked thread that holds her together begins. I don't know about you, but I don't think I could have written that any better. I'm kind of glad that I was not as prepared because I really did enjoy that synopsis. Alright, so as usual, for first-time listeners, I will be doing a spoiler-free review at the beginning to maybe help you decide if this is the book you should pick up next. And then I will be doing a technical spoiler review in the second half for writers or people who maybe have already read the book and want to talk a little bit more in detail. Okay, first off, if you liked Fourth Wing and you are jonesing for a new book, here you go. Just here you go. Here you go. Just read this one. I'm already shouting it to my other Fourth Wing friends because we have to wait till January. Okay, so this isn't Fourth Wing. Okay, Fourth Wing is amazing and in a realm all of its own, but the love aspect and the twisty-turniness is really good in this. You just have to work for it. Yes, friends, you have to work for the ending of this book because the beginning is slow as fuck. It is so slow. Multiple times I almost DNF'd it because the writing is a little basic as well. I'm sorry. I'm not that girl, but like I am. I like really descriptive, beautiful writing. It's something I strive for in my own work, and that is missing in From Blood and Ash. It is vanilla. It's telling instead of showing. It's okay. So if you're willing to stick it out though, and you're thinking of going into this book more of building up this world that you can live in, because I know there are a lot of fantasy writers out there. Which, let me back up for a minute. If you're a romantasy reader for the rom portion, this is not the book for you. If you're a romantasy person who is a fantasy reader but likes romance, then this is the book for you. Because I view the beginning of the book, really the whole book, as setting up a world to melt in, to exist in, to love, and to know in depth for. And it's kind of like if you like V.E. Schwab and say you liked The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue. I should not be butchering that. It's literally somewhere here, there, right there, right there. There it is. Okay. V.E. Schwab gets her own shelf in this house. Anyway, if you like more of that slow build because you want to exist more in the fantasy world, then this is the book for you. Book definitely starts out extremely spicy at the beginning. We jump in at a kind of a weird point. I wouldn't entirely say this is where I would start the book, but you get kind of hooked because she throws in that romance at the beginning, but then we don't see romance in the page for like 3/4 of the book, I'm just going to say, okay? Just be prepared for that. This is definitely the fantasy heavy of the romantasy. But ultimately, I was able to look past all the bad writing because I did like the world. I love the Maiden. I loved Penny, right? Is that how we say her name? She has multiple names in the book besides like, oh, Poppy. See, this is what happens when I'm not prepared. We already know that I have massive problems with names, and now I'm doing this without any sort of reference in front of me. I'm crazy. Okay. Well, Poppy has multiple names in the book. Poppy, Penelope, I think, the Maiden. She's another one. Don't remember. Anywho's, I liked Poppy in the book. She was one of the reasons I was able to stick with it. I thought that we get a lot of the, oh, I'm stuck, I don't have a lot of ability to move around in this world, and I'm definitely kept locked in my room, but I'm a strong, independent woman who's still fighting these boundaries. I'm learning to fight. I'm learning to do all the things. It was enough believable that she was still a damsel a little bit, but also like, I'm going to make as many choices on my own as I possibly can, and I'm going to hold on to my self-will while also being kind of like upset that the world has dealt me the card that it has, because now I am scratched on half my face and I'm struggling to survive in this world because I don't know if I want my destiny that I'm handed. And I love that. That is one of the reasons I was able to look past the writing. I was able to look past the slowness of the book, and I was really able to delve in because I sat here and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to give this a full try and I'm going to live in the world. But ultimately, if you stick it out, you will be massively rewarded, okay? You will be rewarded. I was so rewarded at the end. The twist was phenomenal. The setup for the next book was superb. We finally have not a stupid ending to the first book. I loved it. I'm so excited. There's something I want to tell you, but I can't, that makes the book even freaking better. Like, it is worth it. If you can stick it out and you like the world and you love the idea behind it and you can just stick it out, you will be worth the work because the ending just has you screaming in all the good ways. Same as Iron Flame did. Okay, if you got to the end of Iron Flame and we got mad about all that, okay, this has the same kind of ending and I love it so much, and that is why I still wanted to come on today and talk about this book and give it a good heave-o try, even though I was not prepared for this at all, and I feel like I did not share enough. So, before I just lose it all, we're going to switch to the technical review now where I can just gush about everything. So from this point on, there will be spoilers. Okay, friends, okay, I'm so excited. Okay, so From Blood and Ash is amazing. Hawke, yes, we all love him. Oh, okay, yes. The thing I want to talk about that I couldn't in the first half was the fact of the vampire inclusion in the book, okay? It's kind of hinted at like halfway through the book when we see the bite marks in the lady-in-waiting's neck or whatever, but it is confirmed at the end, and I love the originality of her vampire. This is not fairies. This is not all the other stupid fantasy things I just don't like. So if you're someone who doesn't like fairies, but you're actually a vampire girly, and you're totally emo like me, this is the book for you, for sure, okay? Because I like her take on vampires. It's unique, it's special, and it allows them to walk in sunlight. Yay. And I extremely love the twist, which, if you are like me and guess plots a lot, you've totally guessed the ending, which is the fact that the people in charge right now are not the good guys. They are the bad guys. And actually, Hawke's team is the good guys. Love that kind of twist. I saw it coming from the end, but it was really, really well done. So the thing that I loved about this book is once you actually finally get through the entire book and you see the payoff in the end, you actually see the skill that Jennifer Armentrout actually was able to achieve in building this all up. You actually can begin to see the layers that she placed in place to spell out this entire ending. So even though it was a nice big twist, it wasn't something that we could not have find believable in the end. So if you're looking at wanting to do one of these big twists in your book, I would say this might be a really good book for you to read, because you can watch and look at her layers. You can see how things are played out. This might even be a book that you want to read twice. First time more enjoyable, get the surprise, and then once you've gotten the surprise, reread it again, knowing how the ending is, and see where she's put those markers in. The only thing I would say, which might be a problem, because I am someone who probably guesses the top tier of the foreshadowing, being a writer myself, I saw all of the quote marks of her foreshadowing, but that could just because it's me, and maybe you don't, and that will be helpful so that you can see the layers. Because remember, foreshadowing is done in 3 styles. There's the very obvious, look at here. Kind of think of it as the girl's bites in her neck. Clearly something is wrong here. Then we have the second layer, which most people should get, but not everyone will get. And then we have the third layer, which really the only well-read, those that really know the clues and tricks of the trade, will be able to see. But when you know what's going to happen, when you look back, you can see them, and then you're like, oh yeah, so she totally did kind of point that out to us. I think Poppy is a great character to also study up on. I think she's a great balance of being, like I said, a damsel while also being a very strong main character that's able to handle her own. It's extremely believable as well, especially when it comes to things like her being able to defend herself later in the book and her running off. It plays out really well to match how we end up in the story. I also think that this book is extremely well written from a fantasy world building perspective. Vampires have been done a ton, and here she's able to make something unique. She's able to play the 2 different factions of the world. She's able to play what I would quote call werewolves, with lack of a better name, but a common name that we can all relate to. I appreciate the nods to typical fantasy creatures that she has in this book, while also making them extremely unique to her fantasy world. This is again asking the why and the how. What can I do to make them different? How do they exist in this world? Why do they exist in this world? And the layering of the characters and fantasy creatures, from the top more godlike people like Hawke, to the second level that represent, I would say, more the typical vampires that we're used to then the werewolf style creatures that are created from the more vampire-esque middle grouping of fantasy. It's really cool. And it also lends to the story being extremely dark, because we can see how things are twisting and being used, and we can see the death and destruction. And we also feel really bad for Poppy, because when we find out that her brother has been turned into one of these, and then we see how she her mother refused, and we can see these layers of these detailed emotions and emotional payoffs in the book that are extremely well done. So though the story writing can be vanilla in the essence of word choices that she's picked, the author, the writing itself and the world building is so finely woven and in tune that I would say she's a go-to for me now. I'm going to be reading a lot because I think she does an amazing job. And I'm really starting to try to become a reader that wants to immerse themselves in more of the layers and nuances and depths of fantasy worlds instead of just reading for the plot. I was very much someone who was just I'm just gonna read for the plot. I don't want this world building stuff. I want to be able to just be entertained. And now as I write more and I'm becoming more technical, I'm enjoying this time in the worlds. And this is an instance where we really get to live in the world that Jennifer's created without being too bogged down either. She gives it a nice flow of enough little points to keep us interested, while also letting her world stew on our heads so that she can have a way better payoff in the long run of her plot. And I can applaud that. Just be prepared. We all have to know, we have to sit with this book. This is one of those books that we're not just going to be entertained the whole time, and that's okay. There's a place for these as well. And I'm super excited because supposedly there's 6 books in the series, so I have so much ahead of me to read, and I think almost all of them are out. So now's the time to jump in. We don't have to wait like everyone else in the world did. We're all having to suffer with Fourth Wing now. Why did we pick Fourth Wing up this early? I don't want to suffer. It's Harry Potter all over again, okay? But anyway, friends, I hope you liked this review. I hope you give me a little bit of grace in not being as fully prepared as normal. But give me a thumbs up. What am I doing, man? Give this video a thumbs up just because I showed up for you all today. And don't forget to check out the Dark Side of the Word podcast on Spotify, Apple, and also on Here with Video, where we have a book club. We give more detailed updates about our writing life, and we do some technical things as well. Or if you're looking for more content that's more in a streamlined format and less of a review. But anyway, friends, I hope you have an amazing day.